No.
Yeah.
He's been drinking. I haven't been drinking, and Simon hasn't been drinking. Somebody
I've
else
not
that
been
we know has
drinking.
been drinking, and why not?
Yeah.
You've got a 4 week holiday here in New Zealand, so long as you've got plenty
Yeah.
of beer, you can drink as much beer as you want.
The one of the specialised shops on the list in the UK is wine shops,
Well, the off
which is
license,
quite
as you
yeah, off
call it,
license. Yeah, yeah.
that's
I
not an
think
essential industry here, but you're allowed to buy your beer and your wine from the supermarket.
okay. Yeah, no, but supermarkets certainly, but also off licenses as well. Not that we have many off licenses these days, to be honest. I mean, off licenses 20 years ago certainly, but not anymore. I mean, there's where I live in the village I live. There is like a specialist wine shop,
Yeah, yeah.
which I presume is allowed to open for essential supplies.
Oh, look, at the end of the day, Simon, I don't drink, but I did for a long time, and you know, you know, I, I can't see any reason why, if people want to have a wine or a couple
That's
of
fine.
beers,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, why not? It's and I know some people that like to have wine and drink every night. so, so,
yeah, yeah.
oh,
Well, yes,
look,
absolutely. It's fine. No, it's fine. It just amuses me slightly that that line of what's essential and what isn't right at the moment is an original one. We've got a bike, a sort of motoring, shop called Halfords.
yeah.
HL, like that's designated as something that can stay open because it sells bikes and things. Bikes are an
Mm.
essential, apparently. So
Well,
I
the
don't know.
government
So
had
anyway,
a big debate about that here too. We've got a big department. Well, it's a junk kind of shop called the warehouse. So I think
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like your BNQs or something like that,
right,
and
yeah, okay, yeah,
and and
DIY
and
place.
yeah. Well, kind of. Well, you can go there and buy everything, Simon. Your cheap Chinese shoes and your cheap Chinese clothing and stuff like that. Um, but they considered themselves an essential industry, but the government said, no. And a pizza parlor chain called Domino's Pizza consider themselves,
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
can't buy takeaway food here, Simon. All the
Can
takeaway
you not?
food
Also,
places are
close are
closed.
closed. Yeah,
Is it the same in the UK?
it is not. No, I think takeaways are to some extent open. I've not been out from a takeaway for a couple of weeks, so I don't know how following the lockdown. But I think that basically it's queue up outside, like 2 meters apart, kind of thing. So you get these massive queues.
Sure.
But I don't think that we've got a very good fish and chip shop in the village, and I don't think that it's Caroline's. My wife said it's not open, so I presume that Ian and Co are not opening it. I could be wrong about that, but I think possibly the Chinese and the kebab shop are probably open. They're opening there till they're ordered to close, kind of thing.
I
I
think
would
you
guess.
guys are going to go down the road that we're on. From what I've read this morning, I think you guys are heading for a total close down, like New Zealand.
Well,
Australia are looking at it too, going for a total close down. Yeah, yeah.
it's yeah. It is that's interesting. Yeah, the total close. Of course, yeah. I mean, I don't know if have you been following the sort of South Korea model
Yes.
at all. That seems to be a bit different to me.
Well,
And I
again,
don't know
South
how.
Korea, you can't trust their information too, because they're a bit of a dictatorship, a different kind of dictatorship from the north, aren't they?
Well, North Korea is definitely a dictatorship. I don't know about South Korea. Is South Korea particularly? I didn't think it was particularly closed. Um, no, is it I don't know. I didn't think it particularly was, but I could be wrong about that. But I
You
think,
know,
yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I
that-
think that it is going
there's
to
a
be.
lot of control, mind control going on in South Korea. I had a friend over there that was teaching English, and you got to be very careful about what you say about the government. So you can have a banner on your highways saying that Boris Johnson is either God or the Antichrist, and no one's going to kill you. Yeah, no one's going to kill you. And yeah, no, yeah. 50% of the people are going to think you're right, and the other 50% are going to think you're a nutcase.
True. Yes. So what are you up to now in terms of cases?
Okay, so I can tell you now, we've had a
Roughly.
big spike, and
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to get political about our government here, so I can tell you
I think all
now.
governments are in the same boat, aren't they? Pretty much,
Yeah, well,
trying to work out what to do in some senses, and we've gone for the lockdown.
So we're 451.
Okay, we're 14,543. That's out of, they've tested 113,000 people, which isn't very much. But I think, because what's interesting, I'll tell you what's interesting, because in the UK, I don't know about New Zealand, but the UK, the testing is very sporadic. A lot of people who have it are not being tested. I know a couple of people who've had it. They have been tested. I know at least a couple of people who have not been tested. So, a couple of, I don't know whether you've seen any of these. This is one that came up. This is a self-reporting app.
Oh yeah.
This is a Guy's Hospital in St Thomas's biomedical research. So it's kind of bona fide thing, and every day you just log into it, and you I'll get it back. You log into it, and you report your symptoms. People could see that.
Yep.
It's a very simple app. I mean, it just says, hi, basically, have you been tested? No. Are you well?
Hey, David.
David Ennis, good morning. How are you? Hope you're good. Hope you're staying safe. And,
tell us in the chat what's happening with your part of the world, Dave. Simon and I are just filling in with a bit of news, so you're more than welcome to share what's going on over in America.
Yeah. So I think we're in the middle of a sharp uprising. People getting it because we've had hilarious bits of madness where do you see? I don't know if you saw it back in the beginning of the week. People having a barbecue outside. Like 30 people having a barbecue. The police are going, get in, and some people in the parks, going, what are you doing? Get inside. It's not a lark about this, by the way. It's not an excuse you can go out and jolly about on the bloody green.
Oh, well, I've read and I've just been reading when neighbours are narking on neighbours. There's a number that you can call. The cops are going to the beaches. Unfortunately, some New Zealanders aren't taking it seriously. They're not self-isolating to the extent that they should be, or the government wants you to be. Look, I've just been taking my dog for a walk, two walks. And I've been to the supermarket once in 3 days. So you're allowed to go to the supermarket here. You're allowed to go to the doctors, and you're allowed to go for a drive within your neighbourhood to a park or something like that. But even the parks, Simon, are closed. So if how you've got your mum.
Yeah.
Okay, so what they recommend for you is that you would go there, drop off the shopping at the front door because she's over 70, and she'd come out and grab the shopping, and
in fact,
it's going to be tough.
We haven't seen her for 3 weeks. She's been isolating for the last 3 weeks,
and that's probably the best thing for
her. So, in fact, because she's on the preferential list,
good
of on one of our supermarkets, Sainsbury's. I don't know if you probably know it is. one of the big four. So she's on the preferential list for them. And hi, Great Vanzini, how you doing? Hope you're staying safe and well in these troubled times. So yeah,
don't
so
go
she's
away.
lucky.
Don't go away, Great Vanzini. I want to finish a conversation that we were having on R2, R3's show earlier. So sorry, carry on, Simon.
No, I was just saying that my mum has got, she's got preferential treatment for home deliveries. So she's getting a delivery tomorrow, and she's been recognised by Sainsbury's as somebody who needs to have. So that's good. So we don't need to, the family don't need to go round and, deal with their shopping and stuff, fortunately. So
Great Vanzini, do you want to jump on? Do you want to jump on the chat with Simon and I and have a chat?
Yeah, come on, Great Vanzini. I'll be interested to know what you've been talking about with Andrew.
He was on Stafford Music's show today, and we were having a bit of a chat, and I went and visited his channel, and I said to him, if he wants to Facebook friend me, then I can get his details and he can jump on a show.
Yeah.
So see what he says in the chat.
Yeah. So David then says the USA has surpassed China and Italy in cases and deaths. So David, is it
really?
No,
Really?
might have done. Yeah, I think that because remember, in terms of population, I don't know how. Well, all you do, Graham Mazzini, he sends you a link, you log in. It's really easy.
So Great Vanzini, have you've got a camera, haven't you? Because I've seen your channel.
An iPad, phone, anything.
Yeah. Just all you need to do is just send us through on the chat your email address, and I'll send you the link. And then, but no pressure. I can understand. Sometimes guys don't. I don't have. No. You don't need.
You don't need Facebook.
No.
Great Vanzini. Andrew just emails me the link.
Yeah.
And then it goes in via the web browser. There's a link in the email.
Have you got a camera, Great Vanzini?
Well, any type of device with a camera. I'm just using my iPad.
Yeah.
That laptop. There you are. That's fine. Yeah, that'll do.
Okay, then do you want to jump on? Send me your email address and I'll email you the link and just follow it, click it on, and away you go. Have a chat. So anyway, David's saying that while he's doing that, the USA has surpassed China.
Yeah, it's got more than 100. I'll just have a look while you were talking. More than 100,000 people have now been infected with the coronavirus in America, and the national death toll has passed 1,500. Per Apple News, yeah, David. I'm just having a look at the New York Times.
Really, David?
Yeah, blimey, yeah. It's I don't know if let's see if I can do. I don't know if I can do this, but sneakily show the map.
Vanzini, just put your email in here in the chat, and I'll just cut and paste it from here.
Can you make me big, Andrew?
Yeah, hold on.
I don't know if you could pull it down a bit.
Okay. All right.
There we are. So you can start to see the spread of it in the US. Amazing. Look at that with the massive New York thing.
Hey, Kubrick lover.
Good morning, Kubrick lover. How you doing? So it's I haven't
amazing. Checked out that stat. I'll better check it out because yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's not very good. If America is surpassed.
America's surpassed everywhere.
That's bad news.
Well, yeah, it's terrifying. Great Vanzini, where do you send it? No, Great Vanzini, if you put your email address in the chat, in here, Andrew will send you an email.
Yeah. There. Yeah. So just key in your greatvanzini@gmail.com or whatever it is. Or
that's probably it. Yes, that's probably it. Yes.
Oh, that's scary. I'm going to have to check that information out.
Yeah, Kubrick lover lives near the New York border, so he's He's right near the epicenter. Kubla, I hope you're staying in, man.
Oh, okay. He's not comfortable with putting. Okay.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay. All right. So, and you don't have Facebook. Okay. So what I'll do then, Great Vanzini, is I will email. I'll give you my email address here, and you can send it to me here. So just hold on.
Of course, you can. You can then delete the comment, can't you, Andrew, afterwards?
Yeah. Oh well, this is one of email. Okay.
Yes, well done, Kubrick. Just quarantining myself. Yeah, it's. I've been quarantining for about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks. In fact, I haven't been to work for 3 weeks into the office, so I've been staying at home, working from home. I'm very lucky in that the government department I work for is we can just work from home basically, and just I live in the country, so I can go out and not stay 100 meters away from everyone, never mind 10. But it's proving to be an interesting experience. Nobody else in my house is working, and I'm working. Seems a trifle unfair, if you ask me, to to make me work when nobody else is. But no, I'm very lucky about doing the same, working from home. Yeah, we are lucky, and we can work from home and keep going. I feel my daughter, for instance, works in a garden centre that's been closed for over a week.
Okay, Vanzini. So just fire your email address through to that one there, and
Precisely, Kubrick lover. Yes.
And then I'll fire you back the link.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I have money coming in. I just get my salary, which is fine, and that will continue. So as I say, my daughter works in a garden centre that's been closed for 2 weeks. She's been paid for those 2 weeks, but going forward, they're going to have to access the 80%. Employees get 80% of their salary paid for by the government. I have no idea. I don't know how that works. Yeah. So you're reasonably safe. So keep going.
I think what you have to do is you have to apply for it, and then go from there.
I don't know what you do, but you've got the same sort of thing, Andrew. You can apply for.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure whether firms do it or whether individuals do it. I think my daughter thinks that the garden centre are doing it. No, I haven't looked into it to find out whether that's true or not. But it's.
So just hold on. I want to go up there and delete that. Where is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Remove that comment.
Wow, Kubrick Larry, you've got to have more than a month's worth of food there. Yeah. Those of you who are friends of mine on Facebook will have seen me clearing out our larder, finding out how much stuff we've actually got. Slightly embarrassing. Shame. It's try to. Have you? Great Legend, are you sure you've done it? Oh, I don't know. You took that out. You tried to send it. It says your email is invalid.
Kiwi Clapton at gmail.com.
We'll be checking Great Manzini's spelling.
Yeah. So it's KIWICLAPTON, Kiwi Clapton at gmail.com. See how you go.
Wow. Yeah, not not any more than my Facebook page. That's just the larder that we have. Just to keep over the years. You just with a family of 5, you keep quite a lot of things in stock because things run out. So you always got more than one. I don't know, bottle of ketchup, can of baked beans.
Oh,
and
really?
stuff. So it's you sure you didn't put an extra space in Great Vanzina or something like that? You didn't put a space at the end or a space at the beginning when you copied it?
Okay, well,
Perfectly.
there it is there.
At gmail.com. There we are. Freeze frame. No, Norton should be all right. Great Vanzina. I don't have it on my iPad, but I have it on other things. It's just right.
I didn't realise that Kubrick Glover works for the library, so obviously that's
Yeah.
that's a sad situation because all the libraries are closed, all the parks, all the playgrounds. Yeah, so how long will the town pay you for?
It is a muni. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Well,
Hey, Oven.
I think. Good morning, Arvin. How you doing? Evening. Yeah. Sorry. I forget. I'm out on a limb in the UK. In what time it is?
Yeah, that's correct. KiwiClapton@gmail.com. That's yeah.
Yeah, that's looks right. You just got to be careful, Great Vanzini, when you're cutting and pasting, that you don't get a space at the beginning or the end. If you get a space at the end, it probably doesn't like it, or a space at the beginning. They're trying to keep you busy, I think. They're trying to so you're not looking. Well, I mean, I think that's part of it, isn't it? You know, that's part of the trouble. Is you've got to get there's a whole kind of shift change in that. You know, you've got to get used to doing nothing, or I don't know, going back to the, like the old days, Andrew. You know, you and I, when I was a kid, there was none of this stuff at all. You know, when you were bored, you went upstairs. I went upstairs to my bedroom. Put on Dark Side of the Moon and sat out on the parapet. It's quite dangerous, really. Sat out on the parapet of my, outside my window, 4 stories up. And looked out across the Bristol Harbour and, admired the view and listened to Dark Side of the Moon, or read their New Musical Express from cover to cover. Or,
well, we never had this situation when we were younger.
No.
When I was isolated, it was because I was grounded. And
yes.
that was only that was only for a couple of hours. And then you could always piss off and if you're a young guy, jump on your push bike or you could always do something. But for 4 weeks, jeepers, total isolation. You can't jam, you can't go to work. It's I just I'm trying to remain optimistic and upbeat about it, but jeepers, I'm only 3 days into it and it's doing my head in.
Yeah. It's as I say, it's not doing my head in so much. Although it is, I do find it is weird, kind of motivating yourself when you're completely on your own. I'm quite a gregarious person. I like people, so it does sound great, doesn't it? Maybe I'm painting it too rosy a picture, but it was really that thing about not having. Yeah, see, Kubrick Lover's got a few thousand movies to get through, so he'd be all right. But, whereas, I'm having to kind of motivate myself in a household of people who are not working. And obviously, my wife's not working, and my kids are off from school. And yes, it means that quite a lot of guitar playing's happening, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. I think that's the good thing for guys like us. I've picked up a couple of Beatles books, that have inspired me to play some chords. It's interesting because I Tell Me Why, for example. Paul McCartney and John Lennon wrote that song in 1964, and then after 8 bars, it changes key. It goes to it's just fantastic. It's phenomenal. What these guys do, and being guitar players, most of us in the chat, you kind of work that out, and it's so I'm using that to inspire me to get through the 4 weeks.
Yeah, At least, do you think? I mean, it's going to be at least 4 weeks, isn't it? It's going to be more than that, isn't it?
Well,
Don't you think?
I don't want to swear on here, but they're fucking saying they're preparing us for. They're preparing us now. I'm very good at watching the media, the New Zealand media, over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah. So they'll make an announcement within the next week and a half. They'll extend it. It's very clear. It's very clear, Simon.
No. I mean, it's very. I am mentally preparing for, the next at least the next 3 months. So April, May. That we're not, no semblance of normality before the end of May, June, at least, would be my. It's kind of where I'm mentally preparing myself for this going on for quite a long time. Hunkering down and getting used to getting into a rhythm of different stuff. I'm lucky. It's Kubrick Lover asked, have we heard of something called Band Hub? I have not heard of something called Band Hub. Have you heard of something called Band Hub? Is it something where you can all join in and kind of jam online? Let's have a look. Band Hub, making music together. Here we are.
So you can play an instrument or sing a part of a covered song with other musicians around the world without doing it at the same time. They give you something like a click track. Wow.
Oh, okay, yeah. 300,000 covers of original songs created by the community. Right, okay, yeah. It's free. Look it up. The Rolling Stones, Honky Tonk Women. There we are.
Well, enjoy going shopping while you can, Great Vanzini, because, yeah.
Wow, you went at 5 a.m. Did you avoid the queues, Great Vanzini? Well done.
They'll take that off you soon.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much, there's you and I have been, there's pretty much no shopping here except for food, petrol.
Yeah.
Very
and
good
the
wine
the
shops.
pharmacists.
Yeah,
the pharmacists.
yes, pharmacists are open. Yeah, but even our doctors are kind of, they're kind of closing down what they do to some extent. Consolidating. You haven't. Well done. Maladjusted loner. That's a great phrase. Yeah, it's. I think that's it's better. Whereas I'm not particularly a maladjusted loner. I like to go and talk to other people and kind of go in the office and go and see lots of people. So I can imagine that for lots of us, it's going to be hard work. The self-isolating for a lengthy period of time. They've used this sort of thing, stuff like that to keep us going. Really, don't we?
I don't have a lot of social interaction. I'm not a busy person socially anymore, but going to work certainly gives you that social interaction. That you like, that you have a bit of control over. Normally, when I come home, it's just me and when I might catch up with a couple. Yeah, I might catch up with a couple of friends. So I'm a bit of a loner too, but I like the idea that I can hop in my car and go for a drive and go to the music shop or go and have a look at some CDs. I like that song.
Yeah.
I like
that. Yeah. Oh yeah, completely. Yeah. What is it? I'm in a band. So there's only two of us. Don't get extravagant, but me and Dave do Tuesday nights. So that's something to look forward to, and I'm forever running my daughter around to dance classes and all of that kind of gear. So,
yeah.
There's we've got quite a lot of friends here, and so there's quite a lot of I do a lot of social interaction out and about. Obviously work is my job as a resource manager. So I'm all about the team, all about still all about it, the welfare and the of the team, making sure that they're all good and they're all performing as they should. But mainly now at the moment, make sure that mentally they're right. I mean, most of my most of my permanent team, I have contractors as well as permanents, but most of my permanent team have children. You know, a couple of them have got small children. You know, it's like, how am I going to cope? How am I going to work when I've got a crazy 2.5-year-old running around the house with something to do? It's you know, it's that's quite hard work. You know, and the answer is do what you can. Stop worrying about it and do what you can. And
have you sent your email to me, Vanzina? I can't see it. I'm checking my junk bin just in case it's gone into the junk bin. It's not in the junk bin. And I've just sent an email to myself, so it's working.
Well, I received the email from you. I don't know if you sent it. Did you send it via that email address or another one?
Try this one.
We all have 17 email addresses, don't we?
Yeah.
I think, did you?
Try that one.
Hard work, isn't it? Yeah, is that the one? That's the one I think you send it to me from.
So I'll just go to YouTube, delete that.
No, technical issues with that. You've got a new Windows 10 computer, have you, Great Mancini? That'll be tricky. Oh, yeah, that's weird. Must be that one then. Nope. Yeah, it is. No, it isn't.
Okay, so I'm back on the YouTube, so you might hear us talking for a couple of seconds. Right. Where do we go here? Where's the chat?
Where's the chat? So has anybody bought anything? Has anybody done anything about supporting your local music shops? Has anybody bought anything new recently?
No, I'm not buying anything.
No, well, yes. Due to saving it all up for Kubrick lover, you would laugh. I've got a Chromebook to do to do looking up and stuff and notes and things. I've got my iPad up here that I'm using to think. I'm looking at the chat on my phone. And I've got another phone, my other phone, which I can use to show pictures on it if I want to show pictures or something like that. So I'm using all the technology I can get into one corner. I can trap into one corner of my house. Yeah, it's quite funny. I set up and it's got this kind of mad sort of space, Starship Enterprise type madness going on. I keep thinking I could cut it down to one, and then I'd never quite get there because I like the iPad. I think the iPad's got a good. Did you, Arvin? Squire Telly? Do you? Nice.
Yeah, I'm just using a HP Pavilion laptop, and I've got a couple of iPads. I've got the iPad Pro that came out about 4 years ago, and I can fully recommend this one here, which is the that one.
Yeah.
Whatever that one. Yeah, but
wow.
Yeah, I always wanted to get a Mac, but I'll probably get one at Christmas time.
Yeah. Well, I'm attempting to multitask, Kubrick lover. I'm not sure I actually am, but it's quite difficult having lots of things. I should be more organised, really. But it's quite difficult when you find I just need to have this. I'd have this involved to do this, and then you end up with dozens of things. I feel like Johnny Bean. Johnny Bean has about 9 computers, doesn't he? Phones and computers and all sorts of stuff. And We panicked, ordered a couple of cheap pedals. Arvin, you can't eat cheap pedals.
Yeah.
Although, did you see? I don't know if you saw. Did you see yesterday? Just for a laugh, I posted on my Facebook page. I don't know about you guys. I've been washing my hands a lot, and I thought the advantage of having daughters is that they've got hand cream. So I thought hand cream. So one of my daughters gave me some hand cream. So I thought it's only Boots. It's a local chemist. It's fine. I thought I'll go on the website, see if I can see. Just order some up. Not in any hurry for it. And order up a couple of tubes of it. So I went on. And it took me to a holding website. It said, we're only allowing a few people on our website at any one time. You're in a queue. You are 206,000th in the queue. It's unbelievable. So 206,000 people are ahead of me in the queue to go onto the Boots website. It's just unbelievable. It's amazing. Of course, that becomes a challenge in two ways, doesn't it? It becomes a challenge to see how long it is before you actually get to the front of the queue. And the answer was about 6.25 hours. And of course, the other thing when you're 206,000 people in front of you is that it's going to be out of stock. And so it was. The thing I wanted to buy was out of stock. And it said, this is out of stock and we're not getting any more in. Well, thanks for that. No, I waited 6.25 hours to discover this. I was sure. If I had, if I wasn't having a laugh, I would have. I can smell a good humorous story here, so I sort of went for it. But there is an element of yes, it did make me laugh though. Really, that's how it works. So,
no, that's
I
bizarre.
was Kubrick lover.
I've never
waited 6 hours.
I've had to wait 35 minutes on the phone to speak to the local telecom.
Oh yeah. Phones is a bit different, but yeah, this is like somebody at Boots has had the wit and the wherewithal to build a holding website, so that I can't imagine the holding website must have to have more capacity than their proper website, because I'm sure that 206,000 people aren't on their website all the time. If you see what I mean. Could be wrong about that, but had I but known that it was going to be, well, I just left it, Kubrick lover. I just left it on my Chromebook just to see how long it would take, just as a tab on my Chromebook.
Well, Great Vanzini won't put a plug in for himself, but if you guys haven't checked out Great Vanzini's channel, check it out, because he's got some gear reviews there. It's it's a pretty cool site. So when you get your email up and running, Great Vanzini, and the next time Simon and I are on and you want to jump on and talk about some of the gear that you've got, go for it. But check his site out.
Well, Arvin, you're absolutely right. If my wife went to the local boot store to pick up a prescription for our next door neighbour, and she only waited an hour to get in there. Whereas I don't know. Whereas I had to wait several hours, which is funny. Yes, I'm trying to keep my sense of humour, although I sort of alternate from having a sense of humour at the absurdity of some of those things like that, to kind of being quite cross at the stupidity of people dealing with this, in their own ways. Like I was saying to Andrew earlier, the police had to go and break up about 30 people having a barbecue the other day. It's not a bloody holiday, They all crowded around a barbecue. And I see, Great Virginia says on his old computer it went right through.
Yeah, so they're having that
So-
same situation in Aussie. You know, Australians love the beaches, and the police are going down to the
Yeah,
beaches.
go down to
breaking up.
Bondi and say, "Get off,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
home."
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
bizarre. They're playing touch on the beach and volleyball and
Volleyball and social isolating, playing volleyball. That's not it, is it?
wow.
And as I said to you, there are people in parks, hanging out in parks. It's like, go home. It's not it's not turned into a bloody holiday. No wonder the cases are going up, exponentially. Because people are just not taking it.
I've got some good guitar related content to talk to you guys about.
Yeah.
So here's my casino that I've had. I think I got this in 2011. So it's the John Lennon, inspired by John Lennon. It's the made in China guitar. Sounds great, beautiful guitar. Been a John Lennon nut.
Good quality.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, and it's an Epiphone. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I knew that we were going to be in lockdown, so I brought 5 packets of strings. I brought some 10s and some 9s, and the strings that have been on this guitar, I worked out, Simon, have been on here for. I hate to admit it. I think I changed the strings on this guitar about 4 years ago, 4 Christmases ago. And I put some new strings on here this morning. My gosh. One of the reasons why I noticed it so much is because it's a hollow body guitar. Normally when you put strings on a solid body electric, you don't pick it up until you actually plug it in, so that difference.
Yeah.
And there is a big difference between a dead set and a new set of strings, but jeepers, the
tremendous difference was there. Yeah.
Oh, just jumped out. So if you guys have got some sets of strings at home and you're bored for a couple of minutes and you've got some guitars there that you've had strings on for 4 years, you did the same thing.
Here's one I prepared. No, I haven't changed the strings on it for about a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I tend to change them if I think they've really gone off. But I quite like the fact that they mellow down.
Yeah.
It's odd. I think quite a lot of people do that as well. I think and I'm conscious that these, I don't know, is it? See, it sounds really nice to me. That it's like with a bit more, taking a bit of the top off, kind of. It's like winding the top off. But where's that just gone? Ah! I'm self-destructed. See, look. No, it doesn't. There we are. Get back up there.
Awesome.
Sorry, I just lost my lost my plectrum, and then losing the plectrum of doom as flat wounds. Arvin, have you put flat wounds on your Les Paul?
Well, that's very interesting. That's very, very interesting because I have got flat wounds on my bass, and I just love flat wounds because of the way that they feel. It's got nothing to do with the fact that they sound better or they sound different from the standard. It's just all about the feel. So I've never.
They're not literally flat, though. Are they?
Yes, they are.
They are flat.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I've never played flat wounds on a 6-string, so that's remarkable. Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So Arvin's got him on his casino. Cool.
Wow.
So that's interesting. Yeah. Does it make a big difference? It obviously makes a difference to the feel. Does it make the playability in terms of bending, in terms of
or the tone,
speed, or does it make a difference to the tone? They did, great minute, Jenny. You're right. They did use, a lot of people use flats, didn't they? Flat G's and also banjo strings and all sorts of stuff.
In the 60s, yeah, I think they called them roto. Were they called roto sounds or roto sounds or something like that?
Roto Sound was a company.
Okay.
Rotosound was a string company. I can remember buying Rotosound strings. I don't know if they're still going. Let's see. But,
But apparently, John Lennon's casino, people have made comments about it over the years. It was had a dirty fingerboard, fretboard, and the strings were dead. And he would
yeah,
replace one string at a time because that's what you English guys did
that's what you
after the
did.
war because you went
Us
when one,
cheapskates.
when,
Are
when
you
one
saying
string
that?
broke.
Are you implying by some chance
No, nothing.
that the Poms are a bunch of cheapskate? Yes,
But,
yes,
but
I
a
am.
multi-million-dollar Beatles still sticking to the habit of just replacing one string
Replacing my string. Yeah.
because they had no guitar techs. They
No.
just had a roadie who carried the gear for them. They did their own tech work.
It's very interesting that, isn't it? That when when was the advent of the guitar tech? That I don't remember guitar techs that I took my guitar to. Interestingly, before the late 80s. I think the late 80s, early 90s were the first time that I realised that where I bought this guitar, my Fender Strat, that actually they had a man who did setups, and stuff like that. And then they said, "Oh, you need to bring
I'm
it
going
in."
to say early 80s.
So but when I first had a guitar in the early 70s, the famous Jedson guitar, the worst guitar in the history of Christendom, that we're better off playing cricket with it rather than anything else. It was appalling. It was just like you had but of course you might have been able to get something useful out of it had I known anything about guitars. But of course, in 1972, I knew nothing about a guitar, electric guitar. I've seen pictures of them. I can't even remember where I got it from. Somebody might have given it to me later on somewhere. But so I can't tell you whether it had a truss rod. I didn't know what a truss rod was then. I didn't know what a nut was. I didn't know about strings and nuts. I just knew that it was never in tune. You could never tune it. Of course, you're tuning it by ear, by the piano, or by itself. And so it's almost impossible to tune. Because it's impossible to tune, it becomes you can't play it. Because you can't play it, you can't get any proper things out of it. You give up quite easily. The action was terrible, and it just I can't tell you if lurking underneath was a guitar that was usable or not.
Oh, it's nice to know that guys like George Harrison and John Lennon and Paul McCartney and Keith Richards did exactly what we did. These photographs of them sitting in their hotel rooms, setting the action up themselves and fiddling, doing all that. And even Eddie Van Halen, for a long time doing that. And he never got a guitar tech until the mid 1980s.
Well, famously he did, didn't he? I mean, sawing bits off his guitars and kind of, chucking out the pickups and just putting one in. He's famous the Frankenstein, isn't it? With the Strat, which is with the Strat body and the humbucker. Is that the
okay? So Van Zen is saying flats are good for recording because they stop the squeak.
Oh right. Of course, yeah. So. Yes. Did you recognise that description of the early 70s of having a guitar and having absolutely zero idea what any of it was? Because as a 14-year-old in 1972, the idea. No, I don't think No, I'm certain I never read anything technical about guitars. Of any description, there's nowhere that because the NME, the New Musical Express, the music papers I read would not have talked about it. They wouldn't go into details about pickups and all of that kind of gear. So there was nowhere else. I don't think there might have been a guitar magazines then in the early 70s. I can't believe there were. I don't remember there being. But
Yeah, I'm going to try flat wounds though. I'm interested in how Arvin said that they play smooth and the bass strings have a tight sound. That's interesting.
I see. Yeah, Kubrick Lovers 1972 is the clues in your name. I assumed you were born in 1972. It's yeah. It's and up to about 2 years ago. Well, Arvin, yeah, I'm a bit not that much ahead of you, but I did know about text because when I got this guitar, my Strat, as I say, was the first time I realised that there was that there were people. The shop I bought it in had a man who would set up your guitar, and their suggestion was that you had they said spring and autumn. To be honest, I think that twice a year they said you should have a setup twice a year just to But then for a long time my guitar went to these two weird guys who lived in a house in Bristol, and the Bailey brothers, and they that's what they did, made fixed guitars, but quite cheap, but they were very good. It's only recently, really, often like you, that been on YouTube, that I've discovered the nuances of it, and stuff. Thanks to Ben Coombs, shout out to Ben Coombs. I can now understand how to do the intonation on my guitar, which is only a small step, but for me, quite a significant one. So I know how to do the intonation on my guitars now. Although some of them are a bit weird in what you actually have to do, but the Fender's all right. It's just got a screw on it on the end of each one. Just adjust the screw and off you go. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, if you get some flat wounds and put them on your casino, see if it see how much difference you think it makes to those things. So do you do your own setups in the chat, and Andrew, do you do your own setups, or do you send it to a man?
I've got a guy that's been setting up my gear for about 10 years. So, but I purposely kept away from doing that, not because I'm not technically, minded or anything like that. I know I've got a couple of friends who can't nail a nail, and
two bits of wood together. Yes.
But I was always just a little bit scared because I just doubted my ability to fiddle around with truss rods and adjusting bridges. But I'll be honest and tell you guys the truth. I've learnt a lot of that because of YouTube. We're lucky. I didn't know any of that stuff when I first started playing guitars because you didn't have YouTube, and all my friends weren't techies. So we didn't have that ability. But you want to know how to do your neck relief, Simon? You jump on YouTube, and the guy's going to tell you. You want to set up your heights on your pickups, change your bridge. I didn't know anything about.
Oh, God, done it again. Done it again. Duffed it in again.
I didn't know anything about Floyd Rose bridges up until about 2 years ago, and Ian Mully, who's on the Johnny Bean show, Mully, the guy, the big guy,
Jim Mullins, Jim
Mully, who lives in Japan, gave me a couple of tips on how to set up my Floyd Rose, and I got to say, to take a word out of Nez Says book, my Floyd Rose guitars are fast and flat, boy.
Fast and flat,
Simon.
Yeah. See, but this on this guitar, that's where the truss rod is. So I'd have to take the whole blooming thing off. I'm scared of that.
You see, I wouldn't do that, Simon. I can adjust my.
You can adjust your truss rod at the top. Yeah.
They all have them on the top, and my Fenders have them on the top too.
You see this one. See, no sign of a hole with a truss rod covering it. So Fender went through a period of doing it behind the scratch plate, and I've never done it on that one. Most of my other guitars don't. My Chapman's got one at the top. That's fine, easy to do. Yeah, my Telly has as well. So that Fender is the only one that doesn't.
The good thing about Eddie Van Halen's guitars, and it's a master stroke on his design, is that you can adjust there. You can stick, and that's just remarkable. Yeah, it's a wheel. You just turn it a little bit, and it makes a bloody big difference. It's fantastic.
And see, Fender. That's a Fender thing, isn't it? They don't put it out to them.
No, he was doing this with
Is that not a PV? PV,
yeah,
is it?
No. He started doing that with Ernie Ball, Music Man, and then took that to PV, and then took that over to. So I suppose we can thank YouTube for giving us all the ability to at least have the confidence to give it a go. One thing I won't do though is electrical work. I won't do anything electrical. I just
soldering.
I'll keep away from that, Simon.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, but I've never done soldering, so I don't know how to do it. But it's literally never. So it's I don't own a soldering iron. 11s, really, Arvin? 11s. Why you want to work so hard? in the words of BB King to Billy Gibbons. Why you want to work so hard? Sorry.
Yeah, I've got some 11s on a Strat that's set up for my Texas Blues, and I got to say, this is where Rick Beato's theory can run into some.
I'm not suggesting he's a bit contentious.
Well, yeah, because I put 8s on my Les Paul and it sounded like shit. I've got that guitar there. That guitar there's got 11s on, so that's where I do my Stevie Ray Vaughan jams, and that sounds fantastic. If I put 9s on that, Simon, I can't get anything from it. It doesn't sound like when I play Texas Flood. I can't get that spank, that crackle. That lovely. It's the 9s. It's all wobbly. I'm just getting a wobble.
Yeah, is some of that because you're not Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Oh well, it's all about the feel, and
I know what you mean.
It's certainly in my head. I know the tone that I'm trying to get. And I'll admit it. I'm a tone chaser. That's why I have some guitars certainly set up on purpose for that type of genre of music that I'm playing.
But you are right. It is interesting. The thing because this has always had. I've never had anything other than 10s on it. It's beautiful. 10s seem to suit it perfectly. So I've never messed about with that. Although Hendrix didn't play 10s, did he? He played sort of 8s or 9s or something. They all played light strings in the 60s. But I must admit, my Chapman has 10s on it, and I am really tempted to move that to 9s, my black one.
Hang around, Kubrick lover. Hang around in a couple of days. And
there are a couple of videos of me playing Kubrick lover. I am there.
Yeah.
I've done them recently. I was thinking yesterday, I ought to, if I've got 10 minutes, I was worth a look. Danish Pete from Anderton's, he's put out a couple of videos or jamming videos where he plays like a little loop and stuff, and it's quite good actually. He sets up a loop, of course, you're doing what he does, and then he'll do a solo, and then he points at you to do a solo, and then he points at him. It's kind of like, so you do a bit of back and forth. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm only really mentioning it because I got a mention from him saying thank you very much because I said it was good fun.
Yeah,
Please
that's
be
good
knowing.
advice, Arvin. Your amps can electrocute you. Yeah, especially if they're
Yeah.
plugged in.
Whoa, amps, no way, Jose. That's 240 volts in the UK. That's sizzling through your body. That's a really bad. No, you take it to the man who knows what they're doing to do something like this. Kubrick Lover. Andertons is based in a town called Guildford, which is about roughly 30 miles outside London, west of London. So you go out, there's a motorway called the M4 that goes out from London to Bristol in South Wales, and it's about 30 miles outside London, just below the M4.
Awesome.
One day I will go there.
Are we still going to do Monday, our Monday show?
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know me. I think these are quite just getting on and having a chat is quite. I mean, I've got a load of stuff prepared for our blues thing. I've been doing lots of research and lots of things.
No,
including the outstanding Holy Grail question, which is why didn't Liverpool produce any blues bands? There we are.
No, we're not going to answer that question.
The answer.
No, we're not going to answer that.
We're not answering that question. No. That's the Holy Grail question.
I kind of knew that we wouldn't get to that tonight. I kind of thought that we were just going to be, spinning the wheel, spinning the yarn, catching up, and
No, completely. Yeah, it's fine. We can catch, spin. That's fine with us, and the guys are joining us. Did Eddie Van Halen really blew himself playing with amps?
Don't know.
Did he get a shot? I know. Who's it? Keith Ralph killed himself, didn't he? He got electrocuted, didn't he?
Playing the guitar at home. He plugged in the guitar at home and got electrocuted.
Yeah. And got Colin, the guy from the Stone the Crows.
That's the guitar player. Yep.
Yeah, he electrocuted himself as well, didn't he?
And that's when Jimmy McCulloch took over playing.
Yeah, that's
guitar.
right. Yeah.
And we'll talk about them in the British blues in the second wave or the third wave.
Les
British
Harvey,
blues
that's it. Les Harvey.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Was he? He's not. Was he?
He was one of the founding members.
He's the brother. He's the brother of Alex Harvey. Do you know Alex Harvey? Sensational Alex Harvey band.
Yeah.
That's were tremendous theatricals. I saw them. They actually quite a funny gig. The Alex Sensational Alex Harvey band. For those of you who haven't heard or seen them, they basically had to have this big house, sort of hardboard, but your house painted on it as part of their stage set. And Alex Harvey would spray Vambo Rules OK on the house every night as a kind of graffiti thing. So they were quite theatrical. The guitarist Zal Clemenson used to have white makeup and stuff, like an Italian Pujol clown thing. And so they were quite theatrical. So, but they had supporting them. You guys would have heard of him, called Pat Travers, American blues guitar player Pat Travers.
Yep.
So I don't know whether it's this, but he, as part of he's the support act, and part of his thing was he handed out. I promise you this is true. Full size cardboard guitars, so that people could play along, like air guitar, but one step up. Full size cardboard. So he handed them out to people in the front, so people could, could pretend to play along. It's something is wonderful. That's a crazy thing to do. But so it's Kubrick Lover. I have never been to Andertons. I've bought stuff from Andertons. I bought my because every home should have one. I bought my gold Chapman from Andertons, and fine it is too. Absolutely fine. They did a good job setting it up, and I think they understand about customer service, and they understand about how a shop should work. And I think that they're interestingly, my Chapman guitar came, and there's something wrong with the lock of the case of the thing. So it sometimes unlocks itself, and you have to kind of get a screwdriver and undo it. But I thought it's just so they sent me a key straight away. It was there the next day. I rang them up and said, I'm having trouble opening it. They said, oh, no worries, we'll send you another key. Was there the next
Wow.
day. That's pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's going to be the future of music sales over the next little while anyway, isn't it? You know, Anderton certainly have set themselves up. A big chunk of their business is online sales. Lee talks about it himself. You know, their shop obviously is pretty good. When you see that, it sounds like when they have Rabea there and the other guy, Matt. So when they're walking around, clearly they've got all the gear in the shop. You know, it would be just like you and I going into a candy store when you're 7 years old. You know, but don't they win like categories with some of their suppliers, like number one or number two or number three in Europe? They're big players.
Oh, they are big players, and they're big. They're big on because I think they've been doing it for quite a long time, haven't they? You know, they've been doing, as you say, they've had a. You know, I mean, Rob and Lee have been doing those. They've been doing it for like 10 years. Those their
easy.
Their their videos together. They've been doing it for a while, haven't they? Yeah, yeah.
Well, was that a family business before the captain took over?
His dad and I think his dad and possibly even his granddad set it up.
Oh,
in the
really?
60s. Yeah, it's been going since the 60s. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think his dad was a drummer. So, yeah, they had a kind of, it's a family-owned business. It was owned by him, and hats off to him for, obviously his dad had it as a high street store in probably various locations in Reading and Guildford. I don't think it's been not in the same place all the time because they've grown. But so he took it over. He started working as Lee started working as the shop boy, sweeping up and that.
Oh. One of the great things that Lee ever did was realize the potential for social media and getting sales across. You know, when you look back at some of those videos that they did 2010, and Anderton's will always be a standout for me because every time I did research on any gear or any amp or any guitar that I was interested over the last 10 years, they came into the search and I listened to them. And you and I have mentioned this lots and lots of times. You know, you listened to what they were saying and they gave you some clues. So I really appreciated that. They have a very dear place in my heart when it comes to music gear because they were probably one of the first, Simon, before some of the big American
shop. Yeah, completely, yeah. And so they early in the game, and but it's very difficult. I think the difficult bit, and I think they've at least done it really well, is maintaining the reputation.
Yeah.
Maintaining the reputation for high quality customer service, checking the gear out and making sure it all goes out, make sure it's all, so that understanding that when you're buying online, those basic things are really important. Like, let's just check the guitar over. Is it damaged? Is it not? Just don't send out something that,
which is something that Guitar Center in America doesn't do, Simon, according to 50,000 videos that you watch on YouTube.
Completely, and that lack so big that, I don't know how autonomous, the individual managers. I don't know how Guitar Center is run at all. But, if I was the manager of one of those stores, everything that came through would be QA'd.
Yes.
QA'd, set up.
Yes.
A basic. Make sure it's playable. And when you put it out, it was in tune. I think that those basic things. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they don't. The way they work doesn't. If it's set up, I remember the sort of 80s and 90s, people worked on commission only and all of that kind of gear, which is, I don't know, supposedly motivate sales. I don't believe that to be true myself, but I've done some feature a long time ago, but I don't believe that to be true. And I think that actually what you're actually looking for is the customer experience in saying...
Here's Vanzini backing us up, zero...
QA, yeah, that's right. I tend to say, I just caught a bit of this on. I don't know if you caught a bit of this on Phil McKnight's show last night. he was talking about Guitar Center, and obviously Guitar Center is massively in debt. And how this close down of all the shop, how's that going to affect Guitar Center?
Bye.
Well, can they afford to run for, let's say, 3 months on a business model that is based on, I don't know how much they are in debt, but I know they are. I know they're heavily in debt.
Wow.
And whether they're
So what does that mean, Simon? Does that allow pop? What is it? Ma and pa stores,
mom and pop
back?
stores? Yeah.
Does that give an opportunity for that to happen? Do you think in North America, or is Sweetwater going to take over, or Tommen? Is it Tommen from Toman, or even the captain? Is there a prospect for them to be doing online sales in North America?
Fire.
Maybe Vanzini and Kubrick Glover might know a little bit about it.
Well, it says here, I'm just having a quick look. This is apparently the world's largest music retailer. This is 2018. So, but I don't know if they had more than $1 billion in debt from a 2007 leveraged buyout. So I think that not having footfall, they rely on people coming in and buying stuff. It's that actually, they're in big trouble, one would say. But actually, the film, and I didn't get the full thing. He was saying that actually being able to downgrade their debt might actually be because of this recession, might actually work in their favor, not against them, kind of thing. But God blimey, so yeah. So, but they're in financially they're in big trouble, which means that everybody who's into them, like all the companies that are into them. Oh, you went away for a minute. It's I don't know what Long McQuaid, but they have. I like the reputation they have as being what do they call? What does Ben and Co call them? The dark, not the dark side. And Hack. What do they call them? Long and McQuaid. I can't remember. They call them, the Empire, the Empire or something. But I think they Guitar Center, could, but if it can't sell anything or it's just doing online, then it will be in trouble because it doesn't have the footfall. It will rely on that to interesting, and its credit rating has dropped in February, and it's only modest growth, some profits, but that was before. I don't know what they're doing. I presume they've closed all their shops, guys. Yeah, they did. Kubrick Love, you're right. I just wondered if once you can open your doors and kind of and keep going, then and the stores make a profit, you're all right, aren't you? But if you're not having people going into the stores and buying things, I don't know what their online presence is like. Yeah. So, they call it the Evil Empire, Arvin, or something like that. Long of a crazy Ben and Guitar Hackers. I don't know whether they are or not, but it's I'm sure there's a way of doing it. So but all I'm saying is all those guitar companies that or companies, not guitar companies, that are into Guitar Center, like Chapman, for instance, I guess that they're quite in danger because if Guitar Center go under, that's a really big market that you've lost, isn't it? Possibly owing you money. I don't know how those things are. How that works, but whether Chapman get their money up front or whatever, and things like that, you buy them. But we're getting somewhere with the great Panzini.
So, Great Vanzini, I've sent you an email from Andrew is the subject. So click on that and see what happens. It's
The
Sentry,
StreamYard thing just opens the link just opens a web page.
Yep.
Great Vanzini. It doesn't. There's nothing very
just follow
technical about it. Yeah.
Just follow it. If you're using a computer, mate, you'll be fine. You'll work it out.
They've got curbside service, have they, Arvin? So you got a kick out of that. What every musician needs, curbside service. Yes.
I think one of the great things about, I suppose, a big chain is that they can offer probably for the consumer, for the guitar player, competitive pricing. But is that everything? Is that all that we want? You know, I've said to you before, Simon, I've purchased a few guitars from the rock shop here, and only one guitar out of a few of them has been any good out of the box, and that was my Les Paul. All the rest of them have been capital SHIT.
Yeah. Really interesting. And I think that, you know, that my view of those things always that people who concentrate on box shifting and not quality, you know, that's a dangerous model, really. No.
Here he is.
Oh,
welcome.
No.
Ah,
Here he is.
There I go. Where do I turn the volume down?
You got it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
How you doing?
There we go. Very good. I've got the blue lights on, of course. The house of
That's how
blue
you
lights.
You look like you're in a cupboard.
Yeah. It's
the volume up.
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
Where is that?
I
at?
can hear myself. You must have running in another window. You've got a YouTube window open.
Yeah. Pause your YouTube.
Let's see. If I turn it down, I can't hear you. Huh.
No, but
you should be able to hear us.
You must have it running as a YouTube thing. In another window, or YouTube is a separate thing.
It says I've got rid of your YouTube.
Okay.
Have you?
Oh, now I can hear you. Is it still repeating?
No.
Yes.
It is. Okay. Have you got some earphones or headphones?
That's okay.
No. Well, I've still got an echo. I can still hear myself on yours. Do you have earbuds? Do you have headphones? Great,
Not handy. I'm sorry.
Not handy.
Any old nonsense.
I haven't used those in ages. Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
Do you have a YouTube app you've got open on your laptop? Is it open?
Say that again.
Do you have a YouTube app or the YouTube open in another window? That's what
I don't have it open in another window. No.
Okay, so it'll be just the feedback, Simon. That's why you probably need headphones. Try turning it down a little bit, but you probably won't be able to hear us.
Yeah, I'm down almost to zero now.
Okay, what we'll have to do, Grant Vanzini, is probably kick you out and then
come back in again.
Let me go get some headphones. I got headphones around, so I can do that.
Okay.
It's going to take a minute, though.
That's all right.
Remove him from the stream. Okay, and he'll come back in there. Yeah. Otherwise, that's just going to be really difficult to. That's going to be difficult to hear. But I think one of the great things though about some of these big chains, if they're going to fall over, you know, obviously it's going to be the end of some jobs, but it might give an opportunity for. I think this coronavirus is going to change the world significantly, Simon, on how business is going to be run. You're not going to get any big sports anymore. You're not going to get these footballers getting paid millions of dollars. You're not going to get, the NFL or the NBA or the NBL that we had for years and years. I think that's all gone now. Do
you think so? Do you think they're not really? That'd be really. I mean, I think that it's.
I think all this frivolous industry, this icing industry, I think it's all gone, Simon.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, for me, I'm like, is a chance to completely reevaluate ourselves, isn't it? As you say, how we run, and what we do, and the way that we do it. As a society.
Going to happen. I think it's going to happen without getting, too political and philosophical. But I think, what we've had over the last 20 years or 30 years, it's just going to change remarkably, and that's probably going to mean some of these big chains, Simon. They want to have regional. They want to have regional businesses now. They want to have, a smaller emphasis on how regions and geopolitical areas are manufacturing now. They don't want to have which is interesting because that's anti-globalization, isn't it?
It is absolutely anti-globalization, but yeah, that pushing it down to. I love. Can I just go back to this? This made me laugh. Arvin was talking about you can order ahead from Guitar Center, and you order ahead and they put it out on the sidewalk for you. I hope they wait for you to turn up, Arvin. They don't just stick it out. You take a 45-minute drive to find it somebody else has picked it up from the sidewalk. I love that idea. Just kind of like.
I don't know anybody that says anything nice about Guitar Center. So why are they still in business? Because they control the market. What are they? The mafia?
I think that is what I said earlier. That they're so big that it depends where you go. I think if you probably go to the flagship stores, the big places, say I don't know, Los Angeles or whatever, then. They are the flagship stores. They're probably pretty well run, but when you get down the levels, you go to a town, wherever in the Midwest or something, that you're going to have less stock. It might not, you're down the food chain, so you'll see you have a Kubrick level like Guitar Center.
Okay.
Kubrick level where you live, you might have a good one. I don't know how autonomous they are. See.
Okay.
How corporately run, how if the manager of that store is able to be autonomous and go, this is how it's going to work, guys.
Yeah.
Team, and or if he's just, as I say, I think they're my memory is, I think Dave Nestor's talked about this, is that they only work on commission kind of thing. So you're working on sales only. So it means that the time spent in doing QA and looking after a customer, the customer service bit is kind of pushed into secondary place with the hard sell. As long as I can get some money out of you, then that See, as I say, I can't tell whether it's they have a good manager, who runs it properly and has his team, and then they run it, or whether.
Well, it's got to be. A business. A shop, a retail operation, Simon, is only as good as it is from the top down. I'm a firm believer of it, having been involved in trade sales for the last 30 years. A good manager is the key to a successful business.
It is, isn't it? It absolutely is. To motivating your staff, keeping your staff.
Yep.
So you don't have a
training your staff, training them,
succession planning, training, all those things that are basic. Something about work now. That are basic things that I think the way businesses should be run. And that, and I'm going to use Lee Anderson. Lee Anderson is he closed the shop. He's paying all his people for the next 2 months because the team are more important than the money. Well, for him, he's, oh yeah. I watched a little video of him saying, explaining it, and explaining,
We've got Vanzini back. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Complete with headphones. No, we've got he's not quite there. We've got sound but no vision.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's fine. But that to me is you know, and I am going to make a contrast here, but that to me is real leadership. You know, that is real leadership. That is saying putting the business before. You know, never mind my personal wealth, whatever I get out of it personally. You know, we're all in this together. We are a team. We're a family. We're, you know, and therefore, you know, I'm going to pay people for as long as I possibly can. You know.
Well,
You know,
it comes
people
down
can work
to
in the warehouse and do all of those kind of things.
it comes down to this, Simon. It's whether or not they want to have a business to come back to after the lockdown finishes. So it's a simple question from a business point of view. I've asked that question in my job. You know, are we going to have a business when the lockdown finishes?
Yeah,
because if you don't want to have a business and you want to get rid of people, well, there'll be no business to come back to. So what are you going to do? Are you going to pay? And clearly Lee Anderton has some capital behind him, and why not? Because he's got a very good business. But more than that, though, I'm glad you told me that, because I'm going to jump on a couple of his videos and send out a shout out to Lee and say, good on you, man, for doing that.
It's worth it, you know. Could I say? I'm going to make a contrast here, but there's a guy in the UK. I can't remember his. Hold on, I can find it. So he owns a string of pubs called Witherspoons.
Oh yeah, heard of them.
Yeah. Well, Tim, whatever his name is, I'll find out his surname in a minute, because he made a video which basically said, "You're all out of work.
Really?
Go and get a job at Tesco's. 20,000 people.
He made a video.
Paying you." He made a video of it.
He went online.
You know, he went online saying, you know, you can all, go to hell in a handcart. Really, go. Yeah, just. By the way, Tesco's want 20,000 people. Go and work there. And you're like, I'm sorry, but you know, I don't know what his personal.
So you'll never
wealth
be
is,
buying a beer in Witherspoons for the rest of your life.
I haven't bought a beer in Witherspoons for several years, and I've never ever. Well, he's also. I shouldn't say this. I won't say it, but you know, he's everything that I don't believe in terms of.
Say it once, Simon.
He's a bloody Brexiteer. Sorry. I said it. Anyway, you know, I hate people like that. I hate, because I'm a people person. You know, it's my job. I hate people who just, you know, he's got a massive personal wealth, you know, and yet he's thrown 20,000 people onto the unemployment and things like that. You get paid the end of the week, bang, it's done. Great, Vanzini, how you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Thank you for getting the headphones.
Turn the sound up.
I've got some little earbuds.
Do it in sign language.
Yeah, I think so.
Can you hear us?
I can indeed, yes.
You can, yeah. I take it that as a nod.
And I even have the volume down.
Right, listen. Kubrick lover, it would be great if you could come on. Yeah. It's I don't. I tell you what, we'll set up a training course, shall we, Andrew? You and I, we could do training on how to join StreamYards. No, great, Mazzini, we can't hear you. It's terrible.
You can't hear me at all?
No, I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, can you? I can't hear him.
I can hear him. You can't hear him at all, Simon.
No, I can't hear him at all. I can see his lips move, but I can't hear what he says.
So why can't you hear him?
Right, what song is that from? There's your start of the 10. What song is that?
Okay, so what I might do is I might remove you from the chat, Simon.
I was going to say, I'll chuck me.
Hold on. Simon.
Okay.
So you're going to. I'll tell you, I'll leave and I'll come back. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Good to meet you, my friend. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too, sir.
Yeah, awesome. So when Simon comes back in, tell us a little bit about yourself, as much as you want. You know, give us the quick version.
Okay. Okay.
Hopefully Simon will be back in. So Okay, so that's interesting because Kubrick can't hear you either. But why can't I hear you? So Kubrick can't. Arvin can't. Can you hear Arvin? Can you
Oh,
hear Great
oh,
Vanzini and Simon?
yeah, I see they both have comments saying
Ah,
they can hear me. Yes.
I can hear you now. Great
Very
Mancini.
good. Very good.
Yes.
Good old StreamYards.
Good old StreamYards. Yes, you wouldn't think it was that difficult, would you? But it is.
No, no.
But no
I,
echo.
yeah, that's good. No echo. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing very good. Spending most of
Sitting
my,
in a cupboard.
I am, in fact. It's actually over the stairwell. And if I fall backwards, I'm going to end up at the bottom of the stairs. So, yeah, it's all covered and sealed. So,
Great comedy moments of our
yeah,
time. 42,
where,
yes. Falling
it's,
back down the stairs.
it's where I keep all my CDs and
Ah, fantastic.
all my albums are downstairs. So, where they
So,
should be.
David Ennis says he can't hear anyone. Arvin,
Oh.
can you... Yes, anyone else want to jump in? Arvin, come on.
Yeah, Arvin can hear and Kubrick
We're going to have a
can hear.
community hangout.
So I think David,
Yeah.
jump out of the stream and watch another channel for 30 seconds and come back in. Okay,
Yeah.
Kubrick's going to jump in. Okay, so I'm going to give
Excellent.
Kubrick my email so he can send me.
Kubrick
his.
was making some interesting points about Guitar Center, which would be good to hear, because he got a friend who works at Guitar Center, so good to hear. Great, Vanzini, where do you live?
I live in sort of central Oregon, or western Oregon, but in the central part, down south of Salem, the capital.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm about 50 miles south of Portland, probably, and 45 miles between
Portland, Oregon,
you.
not Portland, Maine. Yes.
Yes, Portland, Oregon. Yeah, and about 50 miles north of Eugene. So.
Right. So, and Oregon's on the west coast, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right above California. I'm from Washington originally. So.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. So it's not so hot, a bit cooler, I guess.
No, it's actually been quite cool. For compared to normal. We're getting freezing nights right at 32 and 50 during the day, but we're getting an occasional 60-degree day here and there. So.
Yeah, we've had a bit the same. Yeah, we're about the same. We've got sort of going down to about 0 degree centigrade.
Yeah, well,
and then getting up to sort of 14, 15. We had up to sort of 17 on 15 or 16 on Thursday. Beautiful day on Thursday.
Yeah, we did on Wednesday. Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah. So, not in your real life. do you play? Are you a guitarist? Do you play?
Yeah, I don't play live anymore. We had
band. Were you in a band?
When I was a kid, I was in a band, and we all got together about 20 years ago or more, and did a lot of home recording kind of stuff. And my drummer started a little studio, and and we started doing live gigs, and then we kind of gave it up. So.
Originals or covers?
Mostly covers, and we always tried to do something weird with them to make them our own.
Is this the 70s? Yeah, 70s,
oh no,
80s?
This was just back in from about 1990 to 2010.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We were old then, you know. So yeah, but we had fun. We had great fun. And therefore I collected a lot of equipment, a lot of gear that I kind of.
Yeah. I'm the opposite, you see. I've collected hardly any equipment, having settled on what I'm a bit the same as you. I started in cover bands in about 1990. Got a cover band together with some friends of mine and played, and then a bit before that actually, 80s, late 80s. But I bought this. This is my Fender Stratocaster. I've had it for 32 years. I had this guitar.
How many years?
32.
Oh gosh, it's a nice one.
It's H, made in Japan. It's a Japanese one. It's H, but which I think is 88. So I bought it 88. So so I've been playing for that long in covers bands and things. But having bought the Strat, I had that. That was my only guitar for a long time, and I had I've told this story a few times. You know, I had a transistor amp, a Carlsbro transistor amp when I first started, and then that wasn't loud enough really. It wouldn't cut it as a pub with the drummer. So I went to the other extreme, bought a high watt 100 watt with a 412 cab.
Oh yeah,
Which was
you had it covered with that, yeah.
Well, you know, sadly, the trouble is you couldn't take it into a pub and play it. You know, you turn it up to 3, and you'd have the back wall of the pub out. You know, it's like really funny. But so I sold that after a while and bought my PV Delta Blues, my old PV Delta Blues. That's about 20 more than 20 years old as well, and that's basically what I've gigged with for the last 20 years. Has been my Strat, my PV, and my Boss GT3.
Yeah,
you know, as a kind of, because it's
covers
easy,
it.
robust.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
I always played with real small amps. 40 watts at most. You know, that were
my PV's a 30 watt. My PV's a 30 watt combo. And I know, it's funny enough, it goes up to 12. But
there you go.
never mind your.
It's even one more than 11. Wow.
More than 11. You see, I'm in that territory. Yes, one more than 11. No, this is one more than 11. It's 12. But it's
two more than 10. Yeah.
2 more than 10. I'm just way more than 10. It's a
Kubrick lover. There he is.
Kubrick,
how are you?
How you doing?
Okay, how are you?
Awesome.
Very
Good to meet
good.
you again, Kubrick. I think, no, I've seen your videos, but we've never spoken in person. So, it's a pleasure. Thanks for jumping on.
Oh, yeah. I enjoy talking to you guys in the chat.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's easier on the fingers, not having to type.
Oh, yeah. It's not bad on my fingers.
Yeah.
I guess since we're talking about guitars, I'll show you my guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could, Kubrick, you can always tell us about Guitar Centre as well. I'm interested to know how Guitar Centre works. Do you go to the Guitar Centre Great Events? Do you?
Yeah,
Guitar Centre man.
There.
Oh wow, I love that. I love that color.
Cool color. It's green.
It's
Kubrick lover, yes.
a Fender Squire Bullet Stratocaster.
Yeah.
Nice. No home should be complete without a Fender Stratocaster.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Can't go wrong
tell
with
that
Strat.
hack.
I'm impressed with the Squires and how good some of them play. I don't own any, but I'm just impressed with how far they've come. You know.
Bring that back.
Brian, bring it back.
Oh,
You bring it back. I'll present you. I was too busy typing. Sorry when you were showing.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. I got
that's beautiful. Yeah.
Too. I got 2 guitars.
So that's surf green.
Yeah, like seafoam green.
Seafoam green.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got 2 tone knobs there, volume here.
Awesome.
And a pickup switch right here. Got 5 pickup positions.
Nice.
Yeah. And this is called the nut, right?
Yep.
This thing right here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm afraid, like, if I ruin my guitar, the strings, my friends and my brother say they're easy to replace guitar strings. I'm afraid I'll break the guitar. So
You won't.
No.
I've changed many things. No, you don't. You can't change the guitar. And there's all sorts of stuff in there, like you should replace them one at a time to keep the strain on the neck and all of those things. I think you just take them all off,
right.
Put them all back on again.
On solid bodies. I do that. Yeah.
The first time I took it to Guitar Center, maybe I really wrecked the guitar because I was playing around with it so much. But the guitar tech, she replaced the strings, and I think she worked on inside the guitar, so she charged me like $50-something. But the guy that works there that sold me this one, he's a musician. He's also an artist, visual artist. But he put the B string on, I think an Ernie Ball string, he put it on for me, and he only charged for the string. He didn't charge for the labor. So it was like $3 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kubrick, you have somebody somebody who works at guitar.
Oh, hang on a sec. Yeah, I do.
Was I right about they only work on commission and stuff, or have I got that wrong? Entirely possible.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
you haven't had
maybe
that discussion with them.
Sort of in a way. I mean, like I asked for a guitar cable, and they didn't sell me a really long one, but I said, what about this one instead, because it was a little shorter. So I'm not quite sure. They might rip you off. Maybe they sort of try to sell you to some degree, but like both of my guitars, I got to try out on one of their amps. They didn't say like take it like it is. They allowed me to plug it into an amp to see how it sounded.
Yeah.
I bought my amp there too. I bought basically everything: my slide, my picks, guitar string. I mean, guitar wire. What the other thing? What is it? My pedal, my looper pedal, which is the Ditto looper pedal, and Guitar Hack recommended that on one of his streams.
Yeah, good.
Pretty good. I really enjoy using the looper. I've been doing some songs on GarageBand with it. I don't have to worry about playing it the same. What? I'm sorry.
Is that the TC Electronic looper? Ditto?
Oh, hang on. I'll go get it.
Okay.
I think. Kubrick Lover.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Have you got any headphones? Have you got any headphones?
Oh, you want me to put on
headphones? Would be good, I think.
It's the end thing.
You're a bit crackly.
I do have headphones.
Just pulled mine out.
Do I sound okay, or do I need headphones?
I think get some headphones as well.
Okay.
If they're handy, yeah. It just makes it a little bit easier. So Great Vanzini, what kind of music have you played with your bands when you first started? Is it rock and roll, blues?
Yeah. It was mostly rock and roll and electric blues. Yeah.
So who's your main inspiration?
Well, we all grew up with the British invasion.
Wow.
So I was fortunate that my two older brothers were in a rock band. So when they would go to town, I would sneak in and play. One played bass and one played lead. So I kind of got to learn both at about the same time. I was 11, and I got to follow them around. My folks didn't want to get a babysitter, so I had to go to all these dances when I was 11 and listen to all the big Northwest bands from the Northwest here and all that. So I was blessed. I look at it, and my father had played upright bass in a jazz band way out in Spokane, Washington, prior to World War II. Right. So there was sort of some music in the family. So I grew up on my older brother's coattails and stole from them. And I think I don't know if you saw it, but I told the one story, the one Strat that got away, kind of. Actually, I made off like a bandit. Was my oldest brother went in the service, and he sold me his 1962 Strat for $125. And I played it. That was probably in '66, and I played it for 4 years, and I turned around and sold it for $150, $25, just like that. So.
How much would it cost today? That same guitar?
I don't know. It was in pretty rough shape. Everybody talks about those great old Strats, but they had soft frets, and they that finish just was chipped all over. And I sold it. It was 8 years
Rory
old.
Gallagher. It was a bit Rory Gallagher.
Yeah.
Hardly anything left. Yes.
It needed a fret job and everything else. So.
I think lots of those guitars like that. I mean, it's very interesting. I don't know if I'm sort of friends with a guy called Chris Buck, who's a young Welsh guitar player here, and he just picked up a early '63 Strat. I think he saw it it's like a house clearance auction, and it is an absolute wreck of a guitar. because basically somebody bought it, somebody installed switches on it and stuff, and also because as you say, back in '63, you just got a guitar. And it was just a new guitar, and you played it.
Did what you wanted.
You look back and go, "What'd you do that for?" And he's, and he's having to decide whether to get it refretted because the frets are wrecked and the fretboard is knackered, and he's had it refretted. I mean, of course, it's completely, in my book, it's completely the right thing to do because that like one of the pickups have been changed, and in the late '60s and stuff, and you can sort of see the history of it, from when it was a new guitar, and therefore, as you say, you bought it for $200 or whatever it was, $150, and then because it's new, you go, well, like we all do. You sit there and you go, well, change out the pickups, change out this, do that, not kind of thinking that in 60 years' time this thing's going to be worth 20 grand or something, or 50,
I remember the finish had chipped off around the top of it, and I had taken something like a Sharpie and tried to kind of make it black like the sunburst. Didn't work. It just soaked it up and made it look funny. So somebody's got that guitar and say, who screwed this up? But yeah.
But that's the trouble. In 1964, you're not going, this is a 20 grand guitar, is it? You're going to spice.
Yeah, I think it was
that's a $120 guitar.
Yeah, I think it was probably sometime in the 70s when I looked at a couple of guitars and thought, well, what makes them think they can get that much money for that? Where the prices were starting to creep up a little bit, and then the more I paid attention, the more I realized that they were climbing. So.
Yeah. There we are.
Yeah, that's the TC Electron. I've always wanted to try one of those. I've heard they're just great.
Yeah, well, I bought it used about $70. And then I had to get a guitar cable and a plug, a power source for this.
Yeah,
that was like $30, so that's about $100. But if you bought this brand new, you'd pay $100. So
yeah,
I think I saved some money.
Yeah, you would have had to buy. I don't think they come with the power cable, so you would have had to buy the power cable anyway.
Yeah. So I think this thing right here at the top, if I can.
That's
thing right here.
Oh, the knob. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think if you put in the middle, it does something. Like if you move it this way, I think it repeats more. It does something for some. It wouldn't be on there if it didn't do something. I think
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure. It's not just for show. Yes.
Yeah. You hit it once, it records. You hit it again, it plays, and it doesn't record, but it plays what you recorded. And you can click it like twice, and the green light will blink, and it won't play. And then you can click it again, and it will go the red light, and you can lay down another track, and then you go the green light, and you have two tracks laid down. So, yeah.
Blimey, practicing your own band, yes.
Yeah.
It can be rhythm guitar and lead guitar at the same time.
Yeah. And also you could do, I've seen Michael Lemo he does that, but he kind of does he'll do like a percussion track first, when he just hits the strings like that. So you get a sort of chicky sound, and then he'll do some chords, and then he'll play over the top of them. It's quite interesting.
Wow. Yeah.
So it gets 3 layers. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a good. If you're obviously dead in the strings, you can go.
Yeah.
You can get a rhythm. That can be a rhythm.
Would you call that
you can get
muting the strings?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Muting the strings. Yeah.
That's the one. So, Brian, how long have you been playing?
Yeah.
By your real name. I hope that's all right.
Yeah, you can call me by my real name. I was going to ask you guys to call me by my real name, because I don't know. I mean, some of the streams I'm on, like movie streams, because that I like movie collecting and watching movies. There's some of those streams have a lot of people on them, but they know me. I've been on them so many years, few years, that they know me. They call me by my first name.
Ah.
You asked. Well, I bought that one I showed you. I bought that in September of 2017, I think, or October. I can't something like that.
Yeah.
And it was I think it was $140 or $120. 140, I think.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
And maybe that they were doing the selling thing. They said, do you want like a warranty or something for about $20, which I don't know if I need it or not. But I said okay, and it was like
okay.
Maybe it was like 160 total. Same thing with the other guitar.
Well, I'm not a heavy user anymore, but I have a lot of TC electronic pedals, and they've just held up really well. So
yeah,
a couple of them I have tortured actually. So they've done really well. None of them have ever broke on me yet. So.
and it's a good price, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Good price.
Probably. Yeah,
fine. I mean, TC Electronics is good stuff. I've got a TC Electronics tuner. I have, it's fine. Works really well.
Yeah, the Polytune. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those.
Oh yeah, the mini. Oh,
good.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Well, I got it when I bought a Chapman guitar from Anderson's. I was talking about earlier. That came free with it. That's one of the things I got free with it.
What is it? What does that do?
It's a tuner.
It's a tuner, Brian.
Oh, it's a tuner.
You clip it on the headstock like that.
Yeah, I have one of those. I use.
It comes on.
Oh yeah.
It comes on.
You can
tune. It's really good.
I use my most of the time I use my MacBook Pro. Almost all the time I use my MacBook Pro to tune the guitar. I hook the amp up to the computer, and the amp is hooked up to the guitar, and I tune the guitar that way. Yeah.
For all the tuners and fortune I've spent on tuners, I find myself using my cell phone.
You can tune the guitar with a cell phone?
Yeah, they have an app. Fender makes an app, and so does Boss. So,
yeah, I use the TC Polytune app, and it's very accurate.
I did not. I use a Polytune here at home in the studio, but I don't. I'll have to look that up.
Guys, is the sound all right?
I always envied guys who could. It's good. I always envied guys who could tune by ear.
I've got lots of crackle on you all. I might drop out and come back in again, Andrew, just see if I can hear myself right. But there's a lot of crackling around things. I don't know. It's the same for you all, so it's obviously me that's doing it.
I hear just a pinch of crackle off and on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's. Okay. Do you want me to remove you from the stream and just put you back in, Simon? Hold on.
Here we go.
Me out. I'll be back in a sec. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go. I've got an old man's problem as well.
Okay. All right. It's a pleasure. It's always been something that Simon and I have wanted to do over the course of doing our shows, is get some of you guys in the chat involved in having a chat with us on the show. Our channel's never about world domination. We're just guys that just want to hang out with guys who love music and can share their experience. So the fact, Great Vanzini, that you love British blues, guys, when you were a young guitar player, is inspirational. So you were listening to Clapton and Jimmy Page and these guys right at the time when they were cooking.
Yeah, the Beano album was the first bluesy album I ever bought. I think I was 16 when it first came out. 16 or right around there. So yeah, and I still have it somewhere.
So when you bought that album when you were 16 years old, in your circle of friends, when you put that album on, was it groundbreaking? Was it something that you guys had never heard of before, and it was, give us some of your thoughts.
Only for me, because I like the blues, and I played it for my rest of my bandmates, and we didn't play any of the songs off of it at all, or try to come up with them. And so it was years later when I played it, and all of a sudden they said, "Wow, What an album! I forgot how great that, and it became great, when we were 45 or something like that. So, but yeah, I'd had it early on. Although for the British blues, I mean, we always ended every gig. We ended with oh gosh, now you're testing my memory. Savoy Shuffle. Is that what
Wow.
it's called?
Oh,
The
from the White
da
Album.
da 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 da.
So,
Savoy.
yeah,
The White
Big long,
Album
big long song. Yeah.
by the Beatles.
Savoy Brown. No, no.
Okay. I'm sorry.
What's that?
Savoy Brown.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Do we want Savoy? I want to call it the Savoy Shuffle, but that's not right.
that was Chicken Shack. Did
No.
Savoy Shuffle?
Huh. Yeah. Anyway, we ended with a big long Savoy Brown jam. So.
Wow. And you guys were improvising?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Because nobody else had heard that stuff. My drummer's brother was a studio guy down in L.A. And he would send us all these albums that we couldn't buy at the store, that we'd get them about 3 to 6 months earlier. And by all these weird people that nobody around us had heard, Jimi Hendrix and The Doors and Jefferson Airplane. And so we were covering some of those tunes. And my drummer was a postal worker, and he ran into a guy and he said, "I remember your band. You wrote such great songs," because he thought it was all original, because we had it before it hit the radio by 3 to 6 months. So that was kind of, and of course we had AM radio back then, so often much of that stuff never hit the radio, period. So you didn't hear a whole lot.
There is a Savoy Shuffle by Savoy Brown.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
A big long thing.
Sorry about the confusion.
No, you're right. There's a Beatles tune similar.
You're talking about a Savoy Truffle by
Savoy Truffle by the Beatles.
It.
Yeah, there we go.
So, bloody Savoy.
Yeah.
So we're all right.
Yeah,
Savoy Brown,
they were good.
They became fog hats, didn't they? Lots of them went off to
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Who I saw in our free summer concert series in the park about 2 years ago. And
still going, are they? Well done.
If you didn't bring your headphones or your earmuffs, man alive, it was something. I had straight hair. Loud, I had straight hair for about 6 months. It was something. It was good though. Boy, was it! I mean, they were really, really good. So.
Yeah. Well, yes, you'd hope that after 50 years they would be, didn't you?
Yeah, they would have that down, huh? Yeah.
Might have it down by now, yes. I don't think I have, but you never know. So, guys, what were your first gigs? What's the first gig you went to when you were lads?
Well, that would have been my brother's band playing in a little Veterans of Foreign Wars hall. And then I got to see other local bands because they drugged me along.
In the early 70s? Great,
no, I would have been 60s? About 60 pre-Beatles, before the Beatles.
Oh, okay, right, okay, yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking Walk, Don't Run and Pipeline and stuff like that,
Yeah.
The slow dance tunes were Summertime, and, I remember the singer would always, in their band, would always say, "This is slow dance, grab your honey for a slow dance," and then they'd do St. James Infirmary, a song about a guy on a slab, So, and those were the sort of that was about as close to blues as we heard, but we had a lot of bands come down from Seattle, so local bands that always had a heavy blues influence.
Hi, John.
About the time Jimi Hendrix was growing up there, so.
Hi, John. How you doing? Thanks for joining
me. And my brother's band played at the Castle, opened for a group called the Wailers up there in the Seattle, Tacoma
area. Not as in Bob Marley and the Wailers.
No, it was a local Northwest band called the Fabulous Wailers. Yeah, way before Bob Marley. Yeah.
So what about sort of national bands? Great Red's only. Did you see
well,
the Beatles at all? Or the
no, I
Stones?
missed the Beatles. My guitar player went to see the Beatles in Portland, and
Wow.
we said, "Oh man, what was that like?" And he said, "I really couldn't hear them, because of all the screaming. I think they were pretty
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
So, but we had a promoter that brought through all sorts of. Well, you'd go on a Saturday night and you'd see 10 national acts starting at, 6:30, 7 p.m. until 11. And Dick
What, and they
Clark.
all did half an hour kind of thing?
Yeah, Dick Clark. I think it was
Yeah.
called the Dick Clark Cavalcade of Stars or something like that.
Yeah.
And so that's where I saw the Zombies in '65. Was at our local armory,
yeah.
and people like Del Shannon and the Shirelles and stuff like that. My brother's band opened for Paul Revere and the Raiders. They were a local band
Wow.
Wow.
out of Portland. So
Cool. Yeah.
So I saw them way too many times. But they actually were quite good live. So
Did they? Great, Rosina. I've got a great story. When I was 20, I worked in a record shop in Bristol, in the UK, near where I live. And I worked for a guy who's older than me. He's 20 years older than me. He's called Tony Dodd. He was a very well-known local rock and roll musician. And he played at our local municipal hall that we call the Colston Hall. So it's a 2,000-seater hall kind of thing. Yeah, all the bands went there. And he was the first rock and roll band in the sort of 63, 64 to play at the Colston Hall. And he's got a photograph of it. And what's really funny is that you can't actually see any equipment because the two guitarists are going through one amp. I think a Vox 80.
That's right. Yeah.
So they're standing in front of it, so you can't see the amp. So if the drummer, the bass player's got an amp, you can see that, and then the PA is this very long, thin kind of just voices thing up two sides of the thing. Hardly noticeable on the thing at all. Did bands have that sort of kit then when you went to like Paul Revere and the Raiders? Did they have big PAs or no PAs or what?
No, they weren't really big. A lot of them back then, like my brother's band, they used not a Shure. I forget who made the PAs. Bogan, maybe. Bogan PA amplifier, and then they used those old PA bullhorns that you would use like at the state fairgrounds, big.
I know what, just on a pole. It's kind of.
Yeah, they were on big tripods, and they had those, and they were wide kind of things that went way out, and they were rated for a lot of wattage, so you could really crank them and get the vocals through. And I don't remember. I don't remember them sounding bad at all. I thought they were actually pretty good back then. John Harden, Paul Revere was your first concert
as well. He must live near you, yes.
Yeah. No, I used.
What did that? Yeah. Red uniforms or blue back in the 70s. Oh, 70s.
That's a new guy in the chat, John
cool.
Harden. So thanks for
joining.
Yeah. Welcome, John.
I see John all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Brian, what about you? What was it? Gigs?
No.
Do you go to gigs?
I think I said in the chat, I've never done a gig. This is a thing.
Have you never been to a gig?
Well, no. What you mean like me playing at a gig?
No. I meant you go to see somebody.
Yeah. I've seen a few. I've been to a few concerts. But just like
what was your
just
first
a handful.
One? What's your first one?
Tears for Fears, I think, in 1980.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
7.
Local boys. Yeah.
Australians. Are they?
About
15.
No.
English
They're from England. They're from England, right?
Yeah, they're from near me. Yeah, they're from 20 miles down the road from me.
Yeah. Oh, they're very close?
Yeah. Bath
cool.
is about 20 miles away. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, who was next? Elton John, 99.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hartford Civic Center. It's a pretty good concert. He played for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Well done.
Which I think is pretty
good.
good.
He was sitting down, isn't he? So it's easier if you're sitting down.
Oh, yeah. And he did 3 encores, so.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Well done, Elt. Value for money, then.
What?
Value for money.
Yeah, good value for money, yeah. And then I guess maybe there's only one other. Rick Derringer and
Yeah.
Winter,
Oh.
Edgar Winter,
Edgar,
Johnny Winter's.
probably.
Edgar Winter.
Yeah.
Edgar Winter. Yeah, Edgar Winter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny
Oh.
Winter's dead, right?
Yeah.
Well, Johnny
Yeah.
was his brother. He passed away. Edgar's still alive,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Edgar's
yeah.
alive,
Edgar
yeah,
Winter's the
alive.
one I saw.
Yeah.
He had a young band. He had young guys.
Yeah.
He didn't have older guys playing with him. He did sort of that thing that Led Zeppelin did, and the song remains the same, where they during Days of Confused, Jimmy Page plays some chords or whatever. I don't know a lot of musical terminology, but he plays a set part of music, and then Robert Plant would repeat it, singing it.
Oh yeah. Call and response. That's called.
Oh,
Call
yeah.
and response.
Yeah.
What is it? What is
Call
it
and
called?
Call
response.
and response.
Call
Yeah.
and response. Okay.
Yes.
But with Edgar Winter, he did the reverse way. He sang first, and then he'd have the guitarist repeat it, and he did it like right on, like no mistakes or anything. And he's really talented. He plays the keyboard, the drums, and he played something else. He played 3 instruments, I think.
Saxophone.
Saxophone, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 Exactly. Yeah. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's 73.
I saw him just a few years ago at one of our county fairs, and he was.
Oh, right.
I didn't expect much out of it, and he just absolutely blew me away.
Wow.
He was really good. But when you saw him, Bruce, you saw him with Derringer, which would have been around like the original, like Frankenstein. That song.
Oh. Did he do that with Derringer?
Yeah, I think so. I think he wrote it when he was with him. Yeah.
Yeah, he did perform Frankenstein. They got together at the end of the show and jammed. So Rick Derringer started. They had a break. Then Edgar Winter came on. He did his thing, and then they both came on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was at the Ridgefield Playhouse, which is a really small concert place, So
Yeah.
I think that's all the concerts I've seen. I'd love to go to other concerts, but like the bands I want to see are either dead or broken up.
Yeah.
Or there might be a few bands right now that I'd like to see, like the Rolling Stones or Lady Gaga. Maybe Green Day, but like most of them, I like Led Zeppelin and Guns N' Roses. Oh, Guns N' Roses, actually, I think they're touring again, maybe. But
they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still got a chance to see them.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Like my uncle seen the Rolling Stones 4 times, and I'm not fond of the Grateful Dead. I don't really like them. They're too mellow for me. Even though I like some mellow music like Miles Davis and Coltrane. But 2 of my cousins have seen the Grateful Dead like more than 20 times each.
True deadheads. True deadheads. Yeah.
Kubrick Lover, we've had a guy on the channel a couple of times, another Kiwi, a guy called Richard Fox, who's seen the Rolling Stones 54 times.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Since 1995, 54 times. So he was scheduled to go over to North America, Canada, in April. But
Vancouver,
we all know that there's going to be no gigs for a long, long time.
Yeah. My uncle saw the Stones, I think it was 66.
Oh, when they were hot.
Yeah.
Brian Jones era. Well done. Yeah. Cool.
70s maybe, and then the Steel Wheels tour, and then Voodoo Lounge in the 90s. So.
What about you, Vanzini? Have you seen the Stones?
I have never seen the Stones. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm cheap. I always think about saying, "Oh, I'm going to go see them," and then I look at the ticket prices and say, "Okay, well, I guess not. Maybe." So I don't. But we get we have a huge blues fest north of me in Portland every year that brings in. Well, It's not as good in recent years, but I saw Johnny Winter there just a few years back, right before he passed, and I saw Eric
Great
Burton
Mancini.
a couple times.
In the 60s, I'm 62, so I was born in 1958. So I started going to gigs in 1972.
Uh-huh.
And in 1972 in the UK, and I've said this on here, I've shown things. To go to a gig was sort of 75p, which is probably, I don't know what the dollar is to the pound. It's probably like 50 cents or something like that. So you could go to almost, I went to see Led Zeppelin at Earl's Court in 1975, and the most expensive ticket was £2.50.
Wow.
They weren't. It was like but in the
Wow.
old times, as I say, people, you could go and see people for 75p, so maybe $1 kind of thing, or 75 cents or whatever.
Yeah,
Did you have the same in America? Was it the same?
Well,
America?
yeah, it was like
cheap then?
it was like $1 or something like that to go see one of those the show that with all the different people, the Dick Clark. Caravan of Stars.
Well, I mean, particular bands. I mean, as I say, Led Zeppelin was £2.50.
Yeah, I think it was probably about the same. It was a local band. It was like 25 cents, or something like that. So
yeah.
Yeah, we didn't make a lot of money. So
I was going to say, not making millions off of that, are you?
No.
No.
Oh, so you're talking about prices of? I'm sorry.
Go on, Brian.
Oh, I was just going to say that I looked online at Lady Gaga's prices. Like the cheapest tickets were like $200 something.
Yeah.
Because I guess they make their money now out of concerts because they can't do it, with a
Free
CD.
music. Yeah,
Yeah,
you hit the nail on the
yeah.
head. Yeah, it's gone full circle. That's one of the reasons why the Stones and the Beatles made their money, because they were touring. They didn't make any money selling the records. Then they got better record deals, and then they were selling lots of records. And now, you've got online streaming, and you're getting nothing for it. So, $200-300 to go and see Clapton. Even now, sometimes some of the bigger bands, they're paying $350 to be up close in the VIP area. So it's just phenomenal, the money.
Yeah, phenomenal. Yeah. If
Oh.
I give an example, I've said it on here
Yeah.
before, that when I was paying for 50p, 75p for a ticket to the gigs, an album was £2.50. So an album was probably five times what it was to go to the gig.
Yeah.
And now it's probably 5 times to go to buy a ticket for the gig than it is to buy the CD,
Yeah.
£60, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's funny. It's completely gone the other way.
I never thought of that.
Cheap gigs, expensive, vinyl records. But, yeah, it's weird, that, isn't it? Yes. Okay.
Those were the days.
That's right. Rock and roll hoochie coo. That's what it's called, isn't it? Rick Derringer.
Rock and roll hoochie coo. Yeah.
John Harden
he
hasn't been to
performed
gigs
that.
since Bob Seger in the 80s. You must have been busy, John. It's been like six. Oh, was it? Oh, really? In the early 70s, Arthur, was it 650 or 750 for top bands? Was it? I mean, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Detroit, obviously expensive.
Motor City.
The Motor City, yeah. That's interesting. It's a lot more expensive there than it was here in the UK.
Oh,
Much more expensive.
Wow.
I heard recently, I think it was Bruce Springsteen. Was it him? One of the musicians. He brings the people that have the cheaper seats that are big fans up to the front of the stage, so he can treat them better, or something like that, or some philosophy behind it.
Kind of experience him close up. Yeah.
Yeah, and not have to pay.
That's cool.
Yeah, exorbitant prices. So,
Yet another reason to like Bruce Springsteen.
what?
Very cool.
What'd you say, Simon?
I said yet another reason to like Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, okay.
I'm a particular fan of Bruce Springsteen, and that sort of thing is for me part of it as a kind of I think he's quite the guy. Oddly, but,
Yeah.
in all the things he does at his concerts, in terms of like giving local charities and local stuff, getting food banks at his gigs and stuff like that. So I think it's that's.
It's a good thing, yeah.
It's a community-minded, and it's quite difficult to be community-minded if you're that big a rock star, I think. But to be that community-minded when you go around, I think it's pretty cool myself.
Oh, you mean because if you get famous and rich, you can be out of touch with regular people?
Yeah,
Big time.
It's very easy just to go and and play in a city and take the money and and go on to the next one. And, that's fine. But as I say, I like the fact that there's a certain amount of altruism in his ethos. Gig, pretty cool indeed.
And Simon,
yeah.
Simon and Andrew, I want to thank you. I got to watch the ZZ Top movie at 11:58 p.m., 2 minutes before my Netflix subscription quit, and it let me watch the whole movie after you guys got off the stream. And so I just put it on pause and held it there, and but I got that was the last thing. Well, I thought it was great. It was really interesting. I thought it was really interesting, and I think I think one of you mentioned that they didn't focus on Billy Gibbons completely. They focused on Dusty and Frank as well, and I thought that was really interesting to hear their kind of input on it all. So it was very well done. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting.
Partners, aren't they, so much?
Yeah.
What did you think about what the first record producer did with the guitars when they were recording the first album? How they grabbed Billy's guitar and they just fiddled around with the tuners and dropped the tuning and played it so that they can get a fuller sound. That was pretty interesting.
Okay, I don't remember that actually, but
normally what they would do now is they would manipulate the sound through your program, but back then obviously they couldn't do that, so they just played the song standard tuning, and then they just fiddled around with the tuners and played it again so to get a fuller sound. Very smart.
Yeah, it's kind of like well, it was double tracking, I guess, but doing it differently. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. And then I watched, I don't know if it was you guys or not, but I got to see the John Mayall documentary here last week. So
that's a killer too.
Yeah, he was really, really good. Yeah. And I saw him up at the Blues Fest. Yeah.
I think we need to do a show on him, don't we, Andrew? We need to do a show on John Mayall because
what a story!
That's sort of godfather of blues thing. We need to get his story out, and I only know one thing about John Mayall. Which is that besides his enormous record collection, he also had an enormous pornography collection as well.
Was there? I don't know if I caught that part.
Carl and I discussed John Mayall a little bit yesterday when we went live. We were just passing a bit of time during the lockdown that everyone knows that the world's going through. So I don't know Great Van Zenny if you've seen Carl, but he's on the show with us often. He's another Kiwi here in my city.
Oh, I did. Yes, I did. I did watch that. Yeah, I saw. I got in halfway through, I think, as I recall.
Yeah. So he's in lockdown too. So
yeah, we all are.
Yeah. But it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure catching up with you guys, and we'll do this. We'll do this again. I'm just looking at the time. It's we've been going for just about 2.5 hours. So if we just want to go for about another 10 minutes.
I just wanted to show my other guitar, if that's okay.
We've got 10 minutes. If that's okay.
Great.
Get your other guitar. That'd be cool.
But Simon and I will be back in a couple of days' time. So if you guys jump into the chat. Next time there's a open invitation always.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Great Van Zenny, I want you to tell us more about the music that you've played over the years too. So you can't get it all out in 30 seconds.
It's
okay,
all
what do you
songs.
got there, Brian? Wow.
There we go, Brian. Off you go.
Oh, that's all special too. So
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
and
Oh yeah.
Cool.
let's see, where am I? Oh,
That's interesting. Yeah, the switch between the two knobs. That's
yeah, tone here, volume there.
Yeah, I actually I like that I love the location between them.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, easier to get to.
Yeah. The
for me.
Fender has single coils. It's for humbuckers. I don't know what humbuckers these are. I thought they were P90s, but they're not P90s.
No.
I don't think.
No, they're humbuckers. But you've got your bases loaded. You've got your Strat, which you can't go wrong with, and you've got a Les Paul there, or an Epiphone Les Paul with humbuckers. So you've got your bases covered.
Yeah,
Well, I think they're nice sounding guitars. They sound really nice.
You've got
cool.
99% of all the sounds of rock and roll covered between those two guitars.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I had thought of getting a Telecaster. I thought I'd just be wasting more money. I don't know, but I know like people play Telecasters too. But I think this is enough. I guess I'm good with this.
Yeah, I've got a Telecaster.
I've got a couple.
Yeah, it's a great guitar. You got one, great ones, any?
Yeah, I think I have 5.
Well,
the next time we go live, you'll have to get all your guitars and do a presentation too.
I don't have.
Do
you promise?
Well, I can't do all of them at once because I'm kind of crowded here. So
no problem.
But yeah, I did one video on just 3 of the Tellys, I think, and it's odd that there's a couple I like. I just never play them. I don't know. There's other things I prefer. So
we just say goodnight to John Harden, who's going back to sleep.
Well, good night, John.
Oh, it's 5.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for coming by.
Oh,
good to talk to you again.
Yeah.
It's 5:18 in the morning where I am. I'm in the Eastern time zone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Better. Yeah. It's not 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, great, imagine. What time is it where you are?
I'm at 2:15 here in Oregon.
Oh, 2:15.
Yeah, I took a 3-hour nap earlier. My better half went out to do some extra shopping, and I used that as an excuse to take a nap. So.
Well, Simon and I are going to be on in a couple of days' time, aren't we, Simon?
Yeah,
so if you guys want to jump into the chat, and I'll flick out an invite in a couple of days' time to continue the conversations and the chat. I'd love it.
Sure.
I'd love to have you guys back.
I go on other people's streams too. Sometimes I'm on the camera, so I'll play it by ear.
Mate, you're more than welcome.
Whenever you like.
Yeah, I hope you're not offended if I come in sometimes, or I don't come in, or I'm on another stream, or yeah, okay.
It's fine.
No. Thank you for being polite. Thank you for being polite.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, there's no pressure here with what Simon and I are doing.
So. Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's fun, and it's nice to finally talk to you guys after
good
chatting
to
so much. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now, where are you at, Brian?
Thanks, everyone in the chat.
Oh, Connecticut.
Connecticut.
I'm in Danbury, which is right next to the New York border.
Yeah, we're exact opposites. We're exact opposites.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. You're in Oregon. Yeah. You're in between Washington and California, I think.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Do you see Keith Richards around in Connecticut at all?
I think he lives in the more wealthier part of Connecticut. So.
He lives in a private part that's fenced off for very rich people. None of us would be allowed in. Fenced off Connecticut. Have you not heard of it?
Hey guys.
Okay.
Guys, thank you so much for jumping in. It's been really great. I've got to go shopping.
Thank you for having me. Yes, yeah.
All right, see you in the near future.
Okay, and Great Vanzini, we'll see you in a couple of days' time too.
That sounds very good. Fantastic. Sounds very good. Awesome. I'm working on a new video, so hope to finish that up tomorrow. So
awesome.
Cool. Good stuff.